Such beautiful music that I feel like I was in a classical orchestra 120 years ago. André Rieu isn't just a musician, he's a legend. With his magical violin and warm smile, he's made classical music fun, fresh, and full of heart for millions of people. People travel all over the world just to see him perform, and when he walks on stage with his orchestra, it feels like something out of a dream. But fans have started to wonder, where is he? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Some say there's been sad news behind the scenes. Let's look at his life, his fame, and his recent silence, which has fans wondering if something heartbreaking is going on. André Leon Marie Nicolola Rieu was born on October 1, 1949, in the Netherlands. His father, André Anthony Rieu, was a conductor for the Maastricht Symphony Orchestra, and he grew up in a Roman Catholic family with 5 siblings. He was the third of 6 children and started playing the violin when he was 5 years old. Even as a child, André felt a strong connection to music. He respected his father's strict ways, but as he got older, André wanted to do things his own way and moved away from his father's style of music. He studied at some of the best music schools in Europe, including the Conservatoire Royal in Luxembourg and the Conservatorium Maastricht from 1968 to 1973, where he learned from Joe Jutta and later, from 1974 to 1977, Herman Krebers went to the Music Academy in Brussels to study with André Gertler. He graduated with the highest honor, the Premier Prix, from the Royal Conservatory of Brussels in 1975. André married Marjorie Koschman, a language teacher who also wrote music. They have 2 sons, one of whom, Pierre, works closely with André as an orchestra producer. The family lives in a small castle in Maastricht, which André says was once the home of Charles Debit's Castlemore d'Artagnan. There is a man named André who inspired the story of the 3 Musketeers. He is also very smart when it comes to languages. He can speak 6, including Dutch, English, German, French, Italian, and Spanish. In 2016, his net worth was estimated to be €25 million, but what really matters is how he changed the world of classical music by starting the Johann Strauss Orchestra in 1987. This wasn't just any orchestra, he started it with just 12 musicians and their first concert was on January 1, 1988, but André had a bigger goal. He wanted to make classical music fun and interesting again. Over time, the orchestra grew until it had anywhere from 80 to 150 members, depending on where they were playing. André played a special violin made in 1667 by the famous maker Stradivarius. He didn't just stand on stage and play, he led the whole show, laughing and interacting with the audience, which is what made the Johann Strauss Orchestra so great. As André once said, people are hungry for romance, for music that speaks to the heart. And he gave them that. In fact, many people said that the way he performed reminded them of the original Waltz King, Johann Strauss II. This is why he later became known as the modern Waltz King. His lively style helped bring new life to waltz music, and the orchestra's recording of Szykowicz's Second Waltz even helped start a waltz movement. He wanted his shows to be more than just a comeback in the Netherlands. He brought a full-size replica of Empress Sesse's castle on tour in 2008. It was the biggest touring stage of its time, and fans loved it everywhere they went: Europe, the Americas, Japan, and Australia. He didn't just perform in concert halls, his shows were packed stadiums in small towns and big cities, and he wanted everyone to feel welcome, no matter how much they knew about classical music. His orchestra's music didn't just stay in Europe, they went to other places as well. André's goal was to make as many people happy as possible. He believed that music could bring people together. At their studio in MRI, they recorded all sorts of songs, from classical folk to movie themes and even musical theater. It wasn't just live shows. André and his team made sure that fans could also watch their concerts at home. In 2003, PBS showed André Rieu live in Dublin and André Rieu live in Tuscany, both of which were filmed in beautiful outdoor settings. In 2013, the UK channel Sky Arts did something different. They renamed one of their channels Sky Arts Rieu and played nothing but concerts and documentaries by André Rieu. It was a huge hit and showed how many fans he had grown. Even with all his fame, André stayed connected to his roots. He often performed at the VYTH Square in Maastricht, which is close to home, and fans come from all over the world to see him. It's more than just a concert, it's a celebration. Even though André's concerts are joyful, he never lost the personal touch. The Johann Strauss Orchestra wasn't just a group of musicians, it was like a family. Some members, like Jane Sasson, have been with André since the beginning in 1987. Over the years, the orchestra has also had many guest singers, such as Carla Maffialiti, Miroja Luri, Carmen Monarca, and the Platen Tenors. André also tried his hand at other kinds of art. In 2014, he wrote music for the movie Tuscan Wedding, showing that his skills went beyond the stage. He always went with his gut, even if it meant trying something new. He's best known for how his music brings people together. His shows are funny, warm, and full of energy. He jokes with the crowd, dances on stage, and even surprises fans with little fun things. It was his unconventional style that made him stand out in the world of classical music. As André once said, every concert is a celebration, and every celebration needs music that makes people feel alive. Millions of people love André Rieu, but not all music critics agree with his style. In Australia, where he has a huge fan base, some critics have mixed feelings. One writer, Chris Boyd, said that André's role on stage is more about charm and sharing the spotlight than technical playing, but he didn't say Rieu was a bad musician. Another writer, Ian Kelly, defended Rieu and said it's wrong for journalists to use personal attacks on artists. Kelly wrote that even though many of André's fans don't usually listen to classical music, he brings them closer to the world. Rieu's live and recorded performances have brought joy to millions of people, Kelly wrote. He also said that the fact that André plays easy, fun music doesn't mean he's not talented. Rieu's success in Australia proves that the public loves him. By the end of 2008 he had reached his 100th Platinum Award there, and by 2011 he had sold over. He was the one who sold $50 million worth of CDs and DVDs in Australia alone. Best-selling artist in the country from 2006 to 2011. That's a big deal, especially for someone who plays classical music. But what about other countries? People had just as many different reactions. In the UK, André Rieu's concerts were also big news. One of his shows in Rieu became the highest-grossing concert film in British history at the time. But not all reviews were positive. Tom Service, a critic for The Guardian, said Rieu's show turned great classical pieces into saccharine fodder, which means too sweet and commercial. However, not everyone agreed with that. Alfred Hickling, another writer for The Guardian, said critics were missing the point. He compared Rieu to Jens Strauss too, saying that both were smart businessmen and entertainers. In other words, André knew exactly what he was doing, and his fans loved it. In the US, Rieu wasn't as famous as in Europe or Australia, but he still had a loyal fan base. The New York Times' Nina Siegel called him a maestro for the people, but not for the critics. She compared him to Liberace, who was known for his flashy and fun performances. In her interview, Rieu answered critics who called his music schmaltzy by saying, "I'm trying to create a gas sant cumber where music, decor, and costumes all add up to a magical evening." Dean Payton from the Christian Science Monitor also went to one of Rieu's concerts in 2017. He said it felt more like a pop concert than a serious classical event, but it worked. People were smiling, clapping, and dancing. He compared Rieu's popularity to that of famous musicians like Arthur Fiedler and Leonard Bernstein, who both brought classical music to larger audiences. While the critics argued, André kept moving forward, and so did his fans. Behind all the lights and music, André Rieu has a quiet personal life. He has been married to his wife Marjorie for 47 years, which isn't common in show business. Marjorie is a language teacher and a music writer, but she doesn't like being in the spotlight. In an interview, she said she didn't want to be known only as André's wife. The couple has 2 sons and 5 grandchildren. One of their sons, Pierre, works closely with André as a producer. Even though Rieu travels the world, his home is still Maastricht, the Dutch city where he was born. André lives in a castle that was built in. As a child, he took piano lessons at the same castle and told himself that one day he'd live there. That dream came true, and now he hosts interviews and welcomes guests at the castle, which is called Diane's, and it's full of chandeliers and artwork, just like he imagined as a child. But not all of André's dreams came true. In 2008, he designed a huge fairy tale castle for a concert in Vienna. The project cost about 24 million euros, and it looked amazing, but it almost broke him. He later admitted that the event was a turning point in his life. He lost everything and started over, showing that following your dreams can be dangerous. Over the years, André Rieu has recorded many albums. He has his own studio in Massachusetts and makes CDs and DVDs. His music includes classical pieces, pop songs, folk tunes, movie soundtracks, and songs from musical theater. He has sold more than 40 million albums, and some of them have even gone gold or platinum in places like the Netherlands and Australia. Some of his most popular albums are from Holland. Love with Love in 1994, Romantic Moments in 1996, 100 Years of Strauss in 1999, The Flying Dutchman in 2004, Falling in Love in 2016, and Amore in 2017. Each one was different, but they all kept his happy, easy-to-love style. André is still active today. In 2023, he's on tour with the Johann Strauss Orchestra, playing in Europe and the US. He also keeps putting out music. In the past few years, he's released albums like Happy Together 2021 and Silver Bells 2022, both of which feature his orchestra. But his health has made it so that since he started performing until 2010, André had never been seriously sick. Then he got a viral ear infection that made him have to take a break. It was scary because it came on so quickly, and when he finally went to the doctor joked, "Mr. Rieu, you are a miracle, your heart beats in 3/4 time." Fans love to tell this story over and over again. It's funny and fitting, since André Rieu built his career around the waltz, a dance that moves to a 3/4 beat. You see, André Rieu has performed to millions of people and filled stadiums all over the world, but what really makes him stand out is his deep love for the waltz. André Rieu fell in love with the waltz when he was a little boy sitting in the audience at one of his father's concerts. His father was a conductor who played a lot of different types of classical music during the concert's main part. André noticed that the audience was very still, no one dared to move. But when the orchestra played Strauss waltzes, everyone started to move, smile, and even hum along. It was like the music had sparked something inside them. André was amazed, and he remembers thinking, "My God, this is what I want to do." André didn't want to be in a normal orchestra when he was younger, so he joined a symphony orchestra but was disappointed that the other musicians were more interested in complaining than playing music. That early memory shaped the rest of his life. He didn't just want to play music, he wanted people to feel it, and he wanted to bring that joy to as many people as possible. Years later, that childhood dream would become one of the most successful music tours in the world. Celebrating their work, they talked about money, the cold, and when they get vacations. André was upset that no one ever said, "Oh my God, the concert yesterday was so beautiful." So he did something brave. He decided to put together his own orchestra, but not just any group of musicians. He chose people who loved performing and wanted to be on stage for the fun of it, not for the money or the vacation time. That's how the Johann Strauss Orchestra was born. This special group grew to include about 60 musicians. The musicians were between the ages of 18 and 80, and some were even related to André. They played waltzes that got people on their feet, and their magic reached people outside of Europe. In 2008, André made a big choice. He built a full-size replica of Schönbrunn Palace, the grand castle outside of Vienna, and took it on tour with dancers, horses, and his whole orchestra. It was a huge show that cost a lot of money and almost put him out of business, but he called it both his best and worst decision. Recreating a castle was stupid, he joked in an interview, but it got him the most attention and put him in the top 10 touring acts in the world. That success came with its own problems, but nothing could have prepared André for the emotional blow that was just around the corner. Fame and fortune didn't help when tragedy struck close to home, a sudden loss that broke André Rieu in December 2016. During his UK arena tour, tragedy struck when one of his longtime friends died. One of the orchestra members had a heart attack. It wasn't just a co-worker, it was someone who had played with the Johann Strauss Orchestra for over 20 years. He first cancelled the Nottingham show after the emergency in the hopes that things would get better, but when the musician stayed in critical condition, he had to make the heartbreaking decision to cancel more shows. Concerts in London, Birmingham, Manchester, and Glasgow were all cancelled, and he wrote in a touching message, "This should have been the most. Many of my orchestra members have been with me for more than 25 years, we are a family." The word family was very important. This wasn't about business or ticket sales, it was about people he cared about. Fans understood, even though they were looking forward to seeing the performances, and they said, "Our hearts and thoughts are now with our colleague and his family." Unfortunately, the bad news didn't come on December 23rd. The musician who had been sick was confirmed to have died. His name was Ruud Merckx, and he was a Dutch trombonist who was only 47 years old. He had played with André since 1994, and his sudden death devastated the whole orchestra. André spoke again, clearly shaken by the loss. "Many of my orchestra members have been with me for more than 25 years. We are a family, and we are deeply saddened by this tragic event, and we can't continue our tour." As planned, he said that André's wife Alina Lin Jong was also a violinist in the orchestra and that they had performed together for many years. This wasn't just a musical loss, it was a personal one as well. Fans, the orchestra, and André himself were all in mourning. Refunds and new dates were promised, but what mattered most at that time was mourning a friend. The death of Ruud Merckx reminded everyone that even in the world of music and lights, real life can crash in, and when it does, it changes everything. Years after Ruud's death. Another heartbreak for Merckx André Rieu happened in 2021, but this time it wasn't because of illness, it was because of things that no one could change. The stage went silent because he had to cancel his much-loved summer concerts in Maastricht, his hometown. Every year, people came from all over the world to experience the magic. In 2019, about 150,000 fans from 90 countries gathered to celebrate under the stars. But in 2021, the music stopped because of pandemic restrictions, even though the world was slowly reopening. Even though André had already sold over 100,000 tickets for the series, the government wasn't ready to allow big public events. Safety had to come first, which was a tough choice. In a heartfelt message to his fans, André wrote, "It is deeply sad to inform you that our traditional open-air concerts on the FRYTH in Rieu can't happen this year either." André talked about how much he and his orchestra loved playing again. "My orchestra and I long for these evenings as much as you do," he said. André spoke openly about how much joy these concerts bring to everyone, young and old. The feeling in the crowd, the dancing, the laughter, it's what he lives for. But he also knew that joy only works when everyone is safe. "Unfortunately, this is still not possible in 2021, and your safety is, of course, my top priority," he said. "Your safety is, of course, my top priority." He said that his fans were disappointed but understanding because André had always put people first, as he promised. Rescheduled and gave everyone something to look forward to. Behind the scenes, his team worked hard to make that happen. André's message ended with hope, "The waltz must go on and it will go on." He reminded everyone that music may stop, but not in his heart or the hearts of those who follow him. Now, while he tours the world, his heart stays in Maastricht, the Netherlands, where he lives with his wife Marjorie. They met there, got married there, and raised their children there. They have been married for more than 47 years and have 2 children there. Marjorie is a teacher and has written music, but she likes to keep her identity secret. In an interview, she said she didn't want to be known as just André's wife. The couple lives in a castle that was built in 1492. "It's not just any home, it's a dream come true. When André was a boy, he took piano lessons in that castle and dreamed of one day living there with chandeliers, paintings, and music. Today, he uses the castle to meet guests and do interviews. Compared to the traffic in big cities, that's true luxury, André said with a laugh. When I go to my studio on the other side of the city, it's 10 minutes when my driver drives and 3 minutes when I drive. Even though he's successful, André stays grounded. His home life and music are closely linked, and when tragedy struck in Paris in 2019, he didn't just watch from afar. He gave back through music and more in April 2019. People all over the world were heartbroken when a fire destroyed part of the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Rieu was one of them. He tweeted, deeply shocked by the dramatic images from Paris, but he didn't stop there. He offered something big: 700 tons of steel scaffolding from his Chambron Palace stage set. He hoped it could be used to rebuild Notre Dame. At the time it wasn't clear if his offer would be accepted, but his gesture spoke loudly. André knows what it means to build something beautiful, and he knows how to give back. He also supports music education. In December 2019, he gave €425,000 to the Jog Fans Culture Limburg Fund for young people in his region, with the goal of giving 1,000 kids the chance to learn music. He said that music wasn't taught enough in schools and that many kids never get the chance to play an instrument. He shared his own experience by saying, "We were all given the chance to have music lessons since we were kids. He and his orchestra members know how powerful that gift can be. We understand." He said, every year it costs about €425 to give one child music lessons. André's donation not only helped 1,000 students, it also brought attention to the problem, and he hoped that it would encourage other people to donate as well. Even though his heart is in giving back, André hasn't slowed down. In 2023, he continued to tour Europe and the US, releasing new albums like Happy Together and Silver Bells with the Johann Strauss Orchestra, despite their size. André Rieu is still the same boy who sat in the audience and watched people smile, dance, and hum to a Strauss waltz. That moment changed his life, and now he spends every day trying to bring that same happiness to everyone else. The man behind the music, in his own words, when asked how it all began, André Rieu said that music was always in his home because his father was a conductor and his mother gave him a violin. He started playing it when he was 5 years old and fell in love with the sound right away. When he heard the romantic sound of that instrument, he fell in love with it and the love never ended. He said that Gold Silver by Fran Lar really touched his heart. He remembered going to his father's concerts as a child and seeing people sit still until his father played a waltz as an encore. Suddenly, people would move, smile, and even dance, and he couldn't believe it. He said that it was the music that made them do that, and that's when he knew what he wanted to do with his life. André thinks that waltzes can make you feel happy, sad, or even love. He once joked, "A waltz a day keeps the doctor away." Because he finds so much joy in the music, he also includes dancing in his concerts. It all started when he was too shy to speak on stage and someone grabbed the mic and said, "Come on, let's dance a little bit." That's how dancing became a regular part of his shows. He also told a personal story about his Stradivarius violin. He used to play a 1667 model made when the violin maker was engaged. André said, "You can hear the love in that violin." Now he plays a 1732 Stradivarius, and he treats it with great respect, even though he doesn't know who owned it before him. What makes his shows different, André said, is authenticity. He said, "We feel every note we play, and then we try to share that feeling with the audience." André's concerts are as big as his personality. There are soloists, dancers, golden chairs, and ball gowns, and he says, "My concerts are about joy and love." He mixes waltzes with show tunes and even pop songs like Mambo No. 5. He chooses songs based on his heart, not by category. He says, "We should stop limiting ourselves with boundaries in music and in life." His concerts are filmed, shared online, and watched by millions. From July 3 to July 6, 2025, he'll perform again in his hometown. He'll go back to the Rieu in Maastricht, where thousands of fans from around the world are expected to join him. If you're lucky enough to be there, the magic will continue. Have you ever been to an Rieu concert? What's your favorite piece of music he's ever played?